Really, Harris? Really? You're
What?
gonna eat and drink on screen when it's recording?
तो तेरे बाप का तो नहीं खा रहा मैं.
मेरे बाप का नहीं खा रहा? Okay, मेरे वजह से तू यहाँ बैठा है. मैंने 1 सेकंड में लात मार देनी है तुझको.
अबे मेरे को फर्क नहीं पड़ता. चल, ऐसी लड़की से मैं बात भी नहीं करता.
What do you mean ऐसी लड़की? ऐसी लड़की कैसी लड़की?
मतलब ऐसी, मतलब कीर्ति शर्मा जैसी.
अच्छा, अपनी शक्ल देख आईने में, अपनी शर्ट देख, अपनी निक्कर देख, ये देख तू कहाँ बैठा है, ठीक है? You wish you had this.
ऐसी लड़की से मैं बात नहीं करता.
That was a little snippet of what life in Bigg Boss is like. Behind the scenes, Harris and I are very well-behaved children.
हम बहुत अच्छे और शरीफ बच्चे हैं.
पर जब लाइव आते हैं तो थोड़ा बहुत कांड हम कर ही लेते हैं. That song, जब तक है जान मैं नाचूंगी, मुझे लगता है जब तक है बिग बॉस मैं लड़ूंगी और तू लड़ेगा. और अगर हम नहीं लड़े, वो कंटेस्टेंट्स लड़ेंगे. ये ओडी कहाँ बैठा है आज, वो क्यों नहीं आया, उससे भी थोड़ी लड़ाई कर लेते हैं हम.
Yeah, we need to grill him for not coming.
Well, forget it. वो जब देखेगा तभी कहेगा कि oh, I should have came. Let's talk about some of these iconic fights. हर एक सीजन में, forget season, हर एक एपिसोड में 10-15 फाइट्स होती हैं. So obviously हम 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 100 तक तो जान ही रहे. We're just gonna talk about some of the fights that stood out for me and for you. So I think we should start with Shamita Shetty. The fights between Shamita Shetty and Devoleena were insane. They were at a next level of hysteria and aggression and emotion. And ये जो Devoleena है ना, she's like a volcano. पर ये नहीं कि dormant है और फिर erupt होती है. ये ऐसी volcano है कि you know lava just spewing 24/7. Like,
yeah, कभी भी फट जाएगी छोटी बात पे. She'll just explode.
Like you can touch her like this and she's gonna explode. You can walk past her, she's gonna explode like this. जब वो season 13 में आई थी तब वो plate का किस्सा हुआ था where she just smashed the plate. This season, I don't know what she was trying to do. I thought at one point कि वो इतना she had lost control that she was gonna physically do something to Shamita. वो कैसे चढ़ के जा रही थी कि ए Shamita, तू Shamita शेट्टी होगी अपने घर पे. Like oh my god. And Shamita, to her credit, she was gung-ho like चल तूने शुरू किया है ना तो मैं भी आती हूँ अब मैदान में. Karan and Pratik and Teja literally had to hold this girl back क्योंकि she could have burst on Devoleena. फिर कुछ ना कुछ हो जाता. उस बिचारी ने इतना energy उस time use किया that she passed out. Like she
literally collapsed.
Physically draining, mentally draining, emotionally draining. क्योंकि उस episode में हमने तो 20 minutes देखा होगा इस fight को. I'm pretty sure that this fight was going on for a while. That's a lot of energy. Devoleena is a character you don't know what she's gonna do, but I feel like she's good for Bigg Boss. क्योंकि content देती
but
है.
You don't want to mess with her all the time.
You don't want to mess with her. She is छोटा packet बड़ा धमाका. She's fierce.
Talking about Devoleena, do you remember the fight when she went to Bichukle and she goes, मैं तेरे मुंह पे रख के मारूंगी अगर तू बाहर मुझे मिला होता, चप्पल से मारूंगी. Like I was like, wow, what is going on with her?
Yes, and उसका तो पता नहीं चलता था. Sometimes she was okay with Bichukle, sometimes she wasn't okay with Bichukle, and I think that's fine. पर मुझे लगता है कि अगर Bichukle जैसा आदमी आपको 24/7 उंगली कर रहा है या तंग कर रहा है तो आपने फटना ही है. And I feel like Devoleena जैसी तो फटेगी. And I feel like because he had crossed the line a lot of times.
He did. He kept saying ये करो, मुझे चुम्मी दो, मैं मर जाऊंगा. This
तो
is
फिर
that.
वो मारेगी नहीं तो क्या करेगी?
He kept being perverted towards her, so obviously he deserves a थप्पड़.
You brought Bichukle up, so Bichukle versus Shamita भी हुआ था.
Yeah.
And that was something to see. I feel like it was outrageous कि उसने कहा था कि इस जैसी लड़की तो मेरी जूती के बराबर भी नहीं है या जूती
मैं उसको पैर की जूती भी नहीं रखता.
I felt like that was highly disrespectful, maybe equally angry and upset होती कि what is he saying? Like he's disrespecting me at this level. लेकिन I also felt somewhere Shamita was a little wrong too. उसने भी कहा कि ये है कौन, ये यहाँ क्यों आया है.
Yeah, why is he here? Who the hell is he?
ऐसे लोग इस शो में क्यों आते हैं? अगर Shamita जैसी अपना like she can lose her cool, that means there's a lot of stuff going on. There were a lot of fights this season,
especially the one that she had with Afsaana Khan.
Yes.
And she went to her literally. She was like, "Shut the heck up!" And she's literally going to pounce on her. That was just insane. But it was stupid because Afsaana Khan was in the bed. She's literally slapping herself. मेरा वो मर जाए, मेरा ये मर जाए. It was just too much.
she just went to a different level और उसने भी कहा था कि like ऐसी लड़कियां तो मेरी गली में घूमती है और मैं मुड़ के भी नहीं देखती. That was crazy. I felt like maybe अफसाना को rile up कर रहे थे, but I think कि आप ऐसा करो ना, I feel like that comes from within. It comes from somewhere. You know, no one is coaching you कि ये कहो, वो खुद से आ रहा है. तो मुझे
It's a build up of emotions.
Yeah.
Because she even brought the knife out as well out once.
Yeah, she did. Yeah, that was insane. Shamita was right. She said, "नहीं, इसको बोलने दो जो बोलना है, मैं यहाँ खड़ी हूँ." Because you want to see कि what length this person can go to.
Yeah, she stood her ground and she was like, "No, you know what? Let her say what she wants. I'm going to prove that she's literally a piece of trash and niklegi gar se and whatever." And it happened because she got violent. She brought the knife out and she had to let go.
Exactly. Harris, अगर fights की बात हो रही है ना इस season के, then हमारे पास एक प्यारा सा लड़ाका सा जिद्दी सा mosquito type प्रतीक था. And the mosquito इसलिए कह रही हूँ कि he was ready to buzz and fight at any time.
Yeah.
Not physical fight, but like argument. He was always ready to
Ungli karna basically to everybody. Yeah.
उसने इस तरह उंगली की कि उमर बेचारा evict हो गया. Yes, he had a quick temper. Yes, he was aggressive himself. पर मुझे लगता है कि उसकी गलती थी that you know he ended up throwing the water at him directly, but I feel like he was coerced into that action. And लोग ये कहेंगे कि उमर की गलती थी. Why did he let Pratik affect him to that degree? I agree. क्योंकि at the end of the day वो उमर की गलती थी. उसने action लिया तो वो गया. लेकिन मुझे लगता है कि इस सीजन में इतना कुछ हो गया था ना कि water फेंकने से, and then I think he pushed him down, you know, like इतना कुछ हुआ नहीं. But
not just that, he got attacked by Simbha as well a couple of days before that. So
yes,
Bigg Boss didn't take a stand. So obviously it led from one thing to another.
Simbha attacked him. Simbha wasn't evicted. On the contrary, Umar was accused of खिंचावing the topic. So इस टाइम पे जब उसने प्रतीक के साथ ऐसा किया, then why was he evicted? है ना? ये उमर को छोड़ो, ये सिम्बा को भी छोड़ो. Even Karan, my favorite, got a physical a few times. He was never evicted, you know?
He was never evicted. And he actually went violent. He kicked him on the crotch.
Yeah. So why are there different rules for different people?
Yeah.
But have you noticed ये उमर के साथ ये प्रतीक का हुआ था, ये करण के साथ प्रतीक का ही होता था और किसी के साथ करण ने ये नहीं किया.
Yeah.
पर प्रतीक का ये नेहा के साथ भी हुआ था. Like, I'm not saying physical fight, but तू मैं, there was a lot.
With like, Teja even towards the end.
Yes.
He's had his up and downs with Shamita all the time.
And I'm not saying कि ये सबसे like aggressive था house में, he wasn't. But I'm saying कि he was ready for a fight. Like, he was ready to do that ungli. But at the same time, उसके cute moments भी थे, जो नेहा के साथ दिखते थे, जो निशांत के साथ दिखते थे. But then he would have an argument with Nishant. Then he would have an argument with Neha. और नेहा के साथ relationship ऐसा खराब हुआ कि पूछो मत. That's a whole different topic.
Yeah, so she bashed him when she came back. She literally bashed him.
Yes, because of what was happening in the outside world. And I feel like चलो ये सब कुछ उसके कंधों के ऊपर नहीं रखना चाहिए. But you are involved in it as well. अगर relationship कोई भी connection था, it's not because of her alone. It was you as well. So अगर वो suffer कर रही है, then as a man, as a person, as a human being, I feel like you should stand up for her as well.
For sure.
I think he tried. Lekin Neha was on a different trip as well.
She completely lost it, and she had so much negative energy built in her mind, maybe from outside her relationship or whatever, that it got to her. So she didn't understand. Bichara was trying as well, no doubt, but I think it just got to her.
Yeah, but the Bigg Boss house ऐसा ही है ना कि दोनों गलत हो सकते हैं, दोनों right हो सकते हैं, दोनों का perspective है. You know, if you look from Pratik's perspective, he's right. If you look from Neha's perspective, she's right. So I don't want to come and pick sides. We're just talking about
you can't pick and choose. Yeah.
Another epic fight, not in season 15, but in season 14. This is Rubina's season. Was between Rubina and Kavita Kaushik and Rubina and Rakhi Sawant. This is Rubina who was like level-headed. ज़्यादा वो घुसती नहीं थी fights में, ज़्यादा तू मैं नहीं होती थी उसकी. लेकिन when she has something to say, she said it. And I love कि दोनों जो fights हुई है ना, it was because she was standing up for the respect of her husband and respect of her marriage and the relationship they have. क्योंकि Rakhi Sawant had crossed a line a lot of times. वो जो Abhinav, like when she went to untie his pants at one point, Abhinav के साथ overly flirtation करना,
Yeah.
and कब वो हंसी मजाक थोड़ा negative बनता गया, and I feel
Yeah,
like
she even came with tattoos of his name and stuff, and she's
yeah,
like, I love Abhinav. And
yes,
she's proper churring on him and everything. And it
yes,
just looked very vulgar, out of
yes,
shape, out of context. It just looked
yes.
absolutely disgraceful.
And unfortunately, blame Abhinav and Rubina पे जाता था कि ये इन्होंने encourage किया है. No, ये encourage नहीं कर रहे थे. They were being friendly and nice.
Not just that, the worst part is she kept calling him a turkey. And then even after that, Salman was like, but what you said is worse, कि वो ऐसी है या वो बददिमाग है or something. And it didn't make sense. Like she's called someone turkey. That's still a big thing. He just said that she's not there or she's stupid.
Yes.
How is that a bigger deal?
And then Rubina ने पानी डाल दिया उसके ऊपर और सब Rubina के ऊपर चढ़ गए कि पानी कैसे डाल दिया.
But that was fun to see.
It was fun. I think at that point इतना कुछ हो गया था. The build up was happening over so many days and weeks. I felt like this was like the end. बस कर. क्योंकि how else do you make her stop? Because I don't think Rakhi Sawant can stop.
She can't. Nobody can stop her no matter what. You have to do these harkatein. You have to go on her level to make her shut up. And Rubina did right because she took a stand for herself. She cared about her husband's respect. She cared about her relationship. Even with Kavita, whatever she's done, she had to take a stand. And this is why she's won the show, is because she stood out in all her fights and she rised as a person. She grew from here to all the way here in her personality because she was honest.
Yeah, and it was tough कि ये कविता and Abhinav के बीच में क्या हुआ क्योंकि वो दोस्त थे, like at least friendly थे, कोई connection था बाहर का. And then to see just how negative she went क्योंकि I think वो जब आई थी ना अंदर, I think it was in her mind कि I'm gonna go against Rubina maybe.
She wanted to pick a fight with somebody. That's what it was.
क्योंकि how would she keep putting Rubina down and not think कि that's gonna affect Abhinav or vice versa? So I don't know why she did what she did to Abhinav क्योंकि मेरे लिए पूरे season में Abhinav was a gentleman.
Yeah, he was.
He didn't do bakwas. He didn't do negative like chedkhani. You know, he didn't do anything in a negative, aggressive way. You know.
Yeah, he was respectful. Even when that incident with Nikki Tamboli happened and stuff, when she was sitting on his thing on the boat on his lap and stuff, he was still respectful. He didn't say, "Okay, you're this kind of woman. What the hell are you doing?" and stuff. He still maintained his dignity towards a woman. Which is why he got quite far in the show.
And Kavita Kaushik to Ejaz Khan ko bhi nahi choda usne. Like,
and that was her best friend.
Yeah,
over chicken.
Ejaz
tujhe chicken bana ke diya.
हाँ, Ejaz कह रहा है कि मेरी friend है और you know ये pandemic के time में मेरे पास you know खाने का नहीं था, ये नहीं था, whatever, कोई बना के नहीं दे सकता था, तो इसने मेरे लिए chicken बनाया. And for him, food is a big thing. Food is connection, and it is for a lot of people.
Yeah.
उसने वो chicken dish का इतना रायता फिलाया ना ये कविता ने. I was like, what are you doing? He is saying because you gave me this food, I feel a connection to you.
Yeah.
उसने पता नहीं क्या सोच लिया, क्या उसने कर लिया. This is a disgusting thing. And the way he was like, ठीक है, तू मेरी friend नहीं है, ठीक है, हम friends नहीं है. I thought that was heartbreaking. Like I felt
it was,
so bad
and he actually melted. He actually cried because he genuinely felt that connection with her.
I felt so bad for Ejaz at that time. I thought कि किसी को ये दिन नहीं देखने चाहिए. खाने के ऊपर कोई टोकी जा रहा है. That chicken turned in some kind of hawa.
Exactly. Chicken nahi to kya hai? God knows what.
Yeah, it was insane.
Okay, so talking about other fights, we've got our aggressive but hamara, winner of season 13. We've got Sidharth and we've got Asim, who've had an amazing relationship. They've had an amazing dosti, yari, and everything. But in the end, obviously, they've had so much fights and a lot of going on. So I remember there was this fight where the first time they had an issue over a task or something. And Asim just said to him, "Ki tu mujhe support nahi karta," or something. And then from there, I think it just became really ugly, like gali galoj. Then it went to dakka mukhi and stuff. Then you've got this Paras Chabra who's just doing aag lagana and stuff. So there was a lot going on. And then there was moments, especially when he was trying to support Rashmi, because Sidharth kept doing aisi larki. I think it just got a bit too much in that show. I think those were moments that, like, I don't know, you just felt it's too much to see for an audience.
So I feel like season 13 changed the trajectory of Bigg Boss. Jitni fights and physical fights season 13 mein hui hai, I don't think it had ever happened before.
And usi wajah se I think other seasons have allowed fights to happen, dakka muki, pushing and stuff, because of this, because they've let it slide.
And this is why when people used to ask me, why isn't Karan eliminated? Why isn't Karan eliminated? I was like, season 13 mein koi eliminate hua tha? No.
Exactly.
The
And they were
two
proper hardcore
Yeah, and
pushes.
two
Like, come
of the
on.
most aggressive individuals in the house were top two. I feel like if you're rewarding that behavior, why should then Umar be kicked out in his season? Because you set the standard. So I think that is there. I don't think that it was out of the ordinary. क्योंकि मुझे लगता है temper या patience की नाम की भी चीज है. And I feel like जब आपका कोई इतना strong connect होना किसी के साथ, like them two had, I feel like when the negativity appears, then that extra emotion is also there behind it.
It does, because they've been together through thick and thin from day one. They've had so much love and friendship for each other. Even like there was a scene when Rohit Shetty came, unko manane ke liye, and Sidharth was actually crying, and he's like, he actually hurt me from the heart because I considered him as a brother. So what takleef hoti hai, so it's natural that you would fight with somebody, and jahan pyar hai wahan takrar bhi hai. So it's naturally gonna happen.
अगर ये घर के बाहर होता तो ये धक्का मुक्की तो होती नहीं, because you wouldn't be fighting and you wouldn't be
of course they'll talk it out. They'll probably shout, swear, whatever, but in the end they'll come back together and they're grown up men. They'll be like, chalo, let's just fix it.
Yes, and हम just because it's in Bigg Boss ये कोई बड़ी deal बन जाती है. You know,
exactly. You've got people from other sides doing masala. You've got the Aarti that was there. You've got Shenaz was there. Rashmi was aag lagaing because she already had an issue with Sid. So you've got all these issues. So it adds up from everywhere.
The tension between Rashmi and Sid was something else as well. I feel like उनका तो past baggage था जो इस show में आया. And it would just keep coming up. वो digs लेती थी, वो भी digs लेता था. It was equal from coming from both sides. Maybe in the outside world, they wouldn't have done this, but in the Bigg Boss world, anything goes, apparently.
Yeah, Bigg Boss mein sab kuch chalta. There's no rules. Do whatever you want to do. Like Salman Khan says, do whatever you want to do, but don't trouble your mata pita.
You know, there was one contestant that I think crossed all limits in Bigg Boss. And this one contestant was Swami Om.
Yeah.
The reason I say this is not physically, but most disgusting thing he did, and that was he threw pee at Bonnie in the task. He literally, they were in the middle of a task. There was pee in a bottle or whatever he did, and she at first thought it was water, and they were like, no, this is pee. And then he just threw pee at her, and it's like disgusting at another level. Like
that is messed up for sure.
Coming at you, and Bonnie, the whole house was irate. And obviously that's disgusting.
Yeah, so, of course. That's filth. It's completely filth.
She was disgusted. She wanted him out. She was like, get him out of here. And he was justifying it. कि मैंने तो task में किया है. You know, task की आड़ में लोग करते रहते हैं बकवास या हरकतें.
Exactly.
Okay. And I just always think your true colors kind of come out during this time, because
they do, for
what
sure.
comes to you, you know. And किसी ने ऐसा कुछ नहीं किया था. Like, what can go through someone's mind to be like, I am gonna throw pee at another human being? Yeah, I just feel
especially a woman, especially someone who's younger than you, and you're such a senior, and she's obviously like a child to you. Why would you do it? And why would you do it on national TV? Like that's just shows that you've got a different agenda, or your mind's just obviously he's no more. We don't want to grill him.
Yeah.
But
if we're talking about fights in Bigg Boss history,
but in that history, obviously that fight that happened, it's not acceptable. Like, come on, if someone threw piss at me, I'd probably just F them up.
When we are talking about fights, there was also some fights that happened that weren't so physical. They weren't physical at all, but they were fun and entertaining to watch. And that was between Shilpa Shinde and Vikas Gupta. Maybe some people think that's mental torture or emotional torture, and maybe it is, but just or मेरे live तो देखती नहीं थी, so I don't know कि कितनी देर चला, क्या नहीं हुआ, क्या हुआ. I just saw the clips in the episode, and I used to think this is so hilarious. Like
it was to a point, it was hilarious.
Na jao. I mean, think about it, Harris, that he was so fed up that he tried to escape so many times out of the house.
Yeah, no, of course. And the thing is, to be honest, sometimes I felt it was actually forced, like dikhne ke liye. But if you look at it, it was so fun and entertaining at the same time. But sometimes you felt like it's forced, that Jan Bush ke kare, and then sometimes you're like, no, they actually hate each other. They can't stand each other. Especially there's one when she's going literally after him, and then he's going after her, and she's like, Big Boss, he's gonna hit me. Mujhe maar raha hai, bachao mujhe. I was like, what is going on? Come on, Shilpa, you're badass. What are you doing? Like, it was funny.
Something funny and weird and hard to understand that season was also these fights between Arshi Khan and Vikas Gupta and Arshi Khan and Shilpa Shinde. They had this tigri that wasn't together, and but was against each other, but then they used each other, and then they were
Yeah,
against each other. So it was just really weird because Arshi was like the third wheel in this equation. She had a relationship with both of them, and she fought with both of them because Arshi is like a matlabi person, and you have to be in
exactly.
Bigg Boss. You know, उसने अपना सोचना कि मैं कैसे आगे जाऊं. So it was really funny to see how she would fight. And then, you know, she has this way of talking, like the Urdu she wants to use all the time. And I just think it's
Yeah,
so hilarious. And then
yeah. She even came back into season 14 and she did the same thing
yeah,
with Vikas Gupta, and then
yeah,
obviously he pushed her into the pool.
yes. But their fight apparently lasted a long time outside of the house and so much stuff happened. So I guess
Yeah,
sometimes animosity does carry, but I just feel like Arshi Khan as a character was really funny.
she's funny.
Irritating, but she's funny. Like I find her amusing.
Yeah, for sure, she is.
ये जब अर्शी खान की बात करें तो राखी सावंत भी आती है because they went head to head against each other as
They
well.
did.
Yes.
Yeah,
When Rakhi, she said ये सांडनी, you know the
exactly.
सांडनी
And there
song?
was one word she used to always use, Sareli, Sareli.
Sareli, thakeli, whatever she said.
Exactly.
That's straight up body shaming. But why can Rakhi Sawant say these things and then we laugh? Like I think that's insane.
Yeah.
If someone else had said that, we wouldn't be laughing.
Not just
You know?
that, how can she get away with it?
But I just felt like Arshi Khan versus Rakhi Sawant was pure gold in terms of entertainment. The
It was a
ladaiyan were
bonus for us. It
hilarious.
was like we're watching a movie. हमें बस popcorn चाहिए and हम मजे कर रहे हैं. It was amazing to see.
Okay, you know how we were just talking about funny fights or just amusing back and forth that happened? There was one fight that we kind of skipped over a little while ago, and that was Madhurima Tulli and Vishal Aditya Singh.
Oh God, the pan.
The pen. I thought this was one of the most toxic relationships we've ever seen. And they weren't even in a relationship together. There was a fire between them, but not in a passionate way. It was a passionate aggression or a passionate hate even. And at any moment, at any time, when Madhurima came as a wild card, she just targeted him.
Yeah, I mean they had a love-hate relationship, but it was like more of a hate. It was more like she wanted to have a dig at him. She's like, वो बदला लेने के लिए आई थी. That's what it felt like.
He even said कि, you know, leave me alone, मैं अपना कर रहा हूँ, तू अपना कर. He also felt like, okay, I don't want her to be ridiculed or go, but at the same time, I cannot deal with her. But that frying pan incident was out of bounds. She hit that frying pan with such force 3 or 4 times. It
multiple times, exactly.
How was she not immediately evicted? Because if Vishal had done this to her, he would have been in jail the same night. So why was Madhurima allowed to do this and then get away with it? She wasn't thrown out of the house.
Yeah, she was kept in a cage in a locker, and they were like, जब तक इसको गलती का एहसास नहीं होगा, she's gonna stay here.
एहसास तो था ही नहीं, because on Weekend Ka Var, they basically blamed Vishal for like khichawing this mamla and wanting her out and wanting him in and wanting her out. This whole episode was handled so poorly. When we talk about feminism, it's the equality between sexes. So if you don't want a man to physically abuse a woman, you cannot allow a woman to physically abuse a man either.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I think relating that goes back to the last season, season 15, when Pratik and Teja were having a fight because it was allowed. She obviously hit him with a screwdriver.
Yes.
And that was allowed. So that shows that obviously the biasness where it comes from season 13 to now, wahan pe sab kuch allowed hai. So obviously now it's allowed, everything's allowed. You can get hit with a screwdriver.
I love how Pratik handled that situation, because it's not okay the way she attacked him during that task either. If he had done that, it would have been a lot of drama.
There would have been like aurat hai, izzat hai, and stuff like that. And he kept his cool. Like, we know how aggressive he is, but he kept his cool. Then I think that's what made him reach the level, the top two.
And you know, you just talked about Aurat and Izzat. One fight that happened, it was between this Rishabh Sinha and Prince Narula. And it happened because when Rishabh came as a wild card, he got a task. And in that task, he made Kishore Merchant a dog. Like, she was on her hands and knees for like 3 hours continuously. And, you know, he was making her crawl around and, you know, do all these things. And her boyfriend was there, Suyash. And he's just, you know, watching this happen to her. I don't know how he kept his cool. But then Prince was there and he considered them like a brother, like her as a sister. And he completely lost it because he was like, you are disrespecting her. This is crossing the line. When is enough? During that moment, he showed that there was a connection there. Rishabh was maybe a badass for coming and making his mark in the show because he did last till the finale. But at the same time, there's always a line. It'll look good up until a certain point. After a certain point, a joke is not a joke anymore. And maybe he thought it would be funny, but that funny turned into cruelty.
It did. It was torture because imagine in the real world, you can't be putting a woman through that situation and making her like a dog and say, "Tu meri puppet hai, chal," and stuff.
Yeah.
That's not acceptable. It's totally wrong. Like you need to respect that you've got women, sisters in the house and stuff. Yeah. And at the end of the day, that stand that Prince took is what made him a winner because it's about winning quality. Like with Rubina, she took a stand. Every season where you see a person has taken a stand, even if they've not won, they've still reached the top. They've won people's hearts. And that's what's important that we need to realize. It's about positivity.
Another thing when we talk about respect and disrespect was Imam Siddiqui. He was probably one of the most over-the-top, emotionally charged individuals. He had over-the-top wardrobe. He was a good speaker. Like he
was definitely
skills, but he put them to the use in really negative ways. And one of the ways he put his words to a negative use was against Urvashi. He was so disrespectful about her personal life, her separation, and then he questioned her ability to be a good mom. When you're in a show as a contestant, show ke upar baat karo na. Talk to her, put her down as a contestant. Ki isne task nahi acha khela. Teri chai nahi achhi bani. Tere kapde nahi achhe. Whatever.
Don't bring your personal lives into it.
Why are you bringing her personal life into it? Why are you bringing her parenting skills into the middle of it? That was totally uncalled for, totally disrespectful. For me as a woman, that point stuck out because Imam Siddiqui was a very controversial figure, I think.
Yeah, he was controversial, but he was battamiz as well.
Yes. When he first came on, I thought it was entertaining. Like so much energy. He was over the top. I loved it. And then
the style and everything that he had, the makeup
then you realize it becomes unbearable. When we talk about epic fights, one that comes into my mind is Karishma Tanna versus Gautam. From the beginning of the show, first day, first week, I knew that he was gonna win. The whole house was against him because he cursed at Karishma Tanna. She held on to that animosity from that day onwards. The whole season, she was on his case. That just made him stronger because he realized कि चलो एक गलती होगी, अब माफ करो and आगे बढ़ो. But not that didn't happen. In fact, she took out her hatred or anger, whatever you want to say, or revenge during this task where she rubbed this mirchi oil thing all over him, like all over his torso and body. Kitni jalan hoti hogi na with that mirch all over you.
Of course, it's torture. It's
I know it's a task, and some people say tasks mein kuch bhi chalta hai, sab kuch chalta hai. Once again, I just feel like there should be a line. The level of torture that he went through during that task at the hands of her is maybe a contributing factor to why he ended up winning and beating her. He was letting things slide. Like, yes, he would fight back. Yes, he would say things. But then he was also doing other things. Any opportunity she got, she put him down. This was the whole season-long fight.
It was just dragged too much because then she got others involved. She got Ali involved. Then you've got these other Rahul Mahajan, Dimpy, whoever came, Dimpy Shimpy. They're all just were cheering on him. And he was rising. Like the same thing happened with Sidharth, for example. The whole house was against him in season 13. But he won. It's because he took a stand for himself. He entertained people. He had this Sidnas chemistry. He had everything. So with Gautam Gulati as well, it was the same thing. He had that charisma because he's obviously a very good looking guy. He's a good actor and everything. He's got a good personality. He's got that swag. But at the same time, he was entertaining. He was doing things in the show. Karishma was just judging on him.
Gautam had his group P3G, and they used to be a lot of fun. I loved that group. I loved their whole vibe. But then you also saw that how Gautam would pick fights with each of those members, or they would pick fights with them. And the P3G
his cute fights with Diandra as well.
Yes. Oh, yes. That was a whole different level of, you know.
It was cute, but it was fun.
Also, the fights between Rakhi, Sawant and Kashmir Shah in season 1. These two ladies, they thought that they were head-on competition. Rakhi and Kashmir are in the same lane when it comes to dancing. And then agar dono hongi, it's not going to work. We need one of these people out. They were always fighting against each other. And they're both strong-headed and they both speak their mind. And they talk. And once they talk, you cannot stop them. They go on and on and on. And Rakhi Sawant is like a character that's very hard to live with 24/7. And there was a point where Kashmira had made the whole house against Rakhi, because people were fed up with everything that was going on. And their fight was so long-lasting that it lasted for years outside of the Bigg Boss house. Recently in season 13...
14 when they came,
season 14, they both came. I was like, oh my God, Are they going
There's
to
going to
fight
be
again?
fireworks.
What is going to happen? Because they literally were like arch enemies in season 1. If we have two strong-headed women who like to speak their mind, Sambhavna Seth and Payal Rohatgi, these two women are also known for being strong-minded, opinionated, not afraid to talk. They have like a motor mouth that just keeps going on and on and on, and no one can get them to stop. They had a very strong argument when it came to nominations. And crazy part was, then boyfriend of Payal Rohatgi was Rahul Mahajan, and he was also a good friend of Sambhavna Seth. He was like in the middle of this fight that was going on, and he's like, "Oh my God, मैं क्या करूं? मुझे बचाओ, ये क्या हो रहा है?" And over nominations, क्योंकि Bigg Boss की history में nominations are a big deal, and तब तो और भी बड़ी deal होती थी. They would go to the confession room and they would do their nominations over. It's not like these days where पता नहीं कहाँ से nominations हो रहे हैं, नहीं हो रहे. It's not a secret. People are talking about it. They're making plans. And
people from the outside come and nominate you, पता ही नहीं चलता.
And eliminate you, और पता नहीं चलता.
Exactly. But talking about these two stories that you said, obviously Payal and Sambhavna and Rakhi and Kashmira, I think there's a relation because obviously if you think about it, they've been item girls from their time. There's competition. So there's obviously going to be like a complex. There's going to be insecurities. So I think because of that, there's always going to be that clash, which is why they had these fights. You got competition, right? So there's going to be some sort of insecurity. But yeah, it was definitely an iconic season with these fights. Like you said, with Karishma and Rakhi, it just went on for years and it was like, kab khatam hoga?
A fight that had real world consequences was between Armand Kohli and Sophia Hyatt. He was a very short-tempered, hot-headed man, and he had these trigger points and he could easily be triggered, and he would just go from 0 to 100 really fast. And he would get so irate that his blood would be boiling. You literally could see his skin turn red. Like he was Hulk. If there was any Hulk in Bigg Boss history, it's Armand Kohli. And in this fight, he physically like assaulted Sophia and threatened her. So he literally had to face criminal charges because
he had a case going on outside.
And this is why I said, if Armand, which he rightly should have faced real world consequences, because you cannot do this. Why, when Madhurima did this to Vishal, she didn't face those consequences?
At the end of the day, people say, like, obviously, because it's about feminism, they say woman hair, this and that. But it comes back to that. It's about equality. If a guy does it, it's wrong. But if a girl does it, it's not wrong. So people need to think in a different way. It's all about being equal.
Yeah, but Armand Kohli wasn't a character that just only fought with Sophia. He literally had arguments and fights with like every single contestant there.
Exactly.
Even during that time, his lady love, Tanisha, he had a lot of arguments with her too.
Yeah, he disrespected her fully, like on another level.
And he would fight with his own friend, like Sangram. So he would fight with anyone, and he was, I guess, okay doing it because it was part of his personality. And he has a really big stature. So when you have a tall, big, muscular man coming in full aggression towards you, like that's a scary sight. And these people thought, it's a Bigg Boss house, we're physically safe, but we've seen in this season that that's not the case. And in recent times too, he's facing consequences for his temper. Sometimes anger management, a little meditation goes a long way.
Talking about tempers, we've got the most iconic contestant now, which is Dolly Bindra. She was like a firecracker. She was badass, but I think she just got too much in the end, because it's like there was a fight where she had with Shweta Tiwari. It was just a random, they were discussing nominations and stuff for a task, and she just got really personal to Essie hair, this and that, and she started involving her husband. She literally made her cry and everything, and it just went on, which is why Shweta obviously became a winner as well, because she got that attention. But with Dolly, it was like she was just too badtameez. She would judge on everybody. She'd have a fight with everybody. Like even if you're walking
and
past.
Her iconic line wasn't it was a fight with Shweta, right? Ki baap pe mat jana.
No, that was with Sameer Soni. Sameer Soni said something to her, and then she said baap pe mat jana. That sort of thing.
Sameer Soni was the one who took a stand for Shweta and wanted Dolly Bindra to get out because she got physical. She bruised her. So he was like, this lady needs to leave. Dolly Bindra is also like a Rakhi Sawant minus the antics. But like in terms of loudmouth.
Not even loudmouth. She gets too personal and vulgar. That's the thing. She character assassinates. So she'll be like, for example, you're doing this person, you're doing that. Like she's on that. Obviously, honesty is good, but too much of it is not really good, especially in the Bigg Boss house.
There's a difference between honesty and being abrasive. And I don't even know if that was honesty or not.
No, she's just pure bitchy. That's what it was.
Pure abrasive personality. And also, when it comes to abrasive personality, we have Pooja Mishra.
Oh, God.
She had some iconic arguments and fights with her housemates. Basically, everyone.
You're asking for it. You're dying for it.
Yeah, you're dying for it.
Get off my back.
Yeah, get off my back. You want it. You want it. The dustbin chakkar that happened.
Oh, when she broke the broomstick.
And she was going up against Shonali. And then over there, she's sweeping and she's hitting things and throwing things. And then Shonali's like, dude, what's wrong with you? You okay? Stop doing that. And then she jarred on her. And then she keeps coming. And Shonali's like, are you going to hit me? She goes, oh, you want it? You want me to?
She was psycho. She was not there.
Yeah, she was that's an abrasive personality. Like abrasive personality, I mean, you don't get along with anyone.
You think, कि मैं ही सही हूँ, मैं ही सब कुछ हूँ. I think that's what it was. She had that sort of like arrogance inside her.
Get off my back. Get off my back. During the pandemic, her whole clip became so popular.
And apparently she's got like a merch as well of hers that says get off my back or something. You're asking
really?
for it. Are you dying for it? Yeah, she's got it. I saw it in one of her I saw it in one of her interviews. She's actually got a personalized cup and it says get off my back.
So she's still cashing the checks from that season?
Yeah, I think she is.
I think it was the same season with Akashdeep Sehgal Sky and Megan. Their fight was over the top and cruel and
it was so negative
levels. They also brought outside events into the house and they used it against each other. I thought it was disgusting the way he was body shaming her because of her accident and the plastic surgery. And
not just that, I think that's the season where all these outside talks started from. If you look at the seasons going back, this is like mainly where it started from, like from her season and Dolly Bindra's. And he obviously got very aggressive towards her. He's like things like, for example, oh, tu nahun marti hai. He got very vulgar and it was character assassinating, where she literally broke down and she was like, tu mere kapre utarega. She was literally broke down and it was so harsh to see, but she gave it back. She gave it back. Like that woman,
she's a strong lady.
That woman is definitely badass. She gave it back and he deserved it because in the end, he just got really crazy. Like then he started doing things like with Sunny Leone. She came in that season. He started coming with her, his dosti with Pooja Bedi and stuff, and it just got too much.
I think Pooja Bedi was the only one that really stood by him most of the time because
she supported him because she knew he was wrong. But with Pooja, it's like she was that warm, giving person. Like she had to be neutral, right? So that's how she was.
We could literally sit here and talk about every season and every contestant because every single one has been in fights. But I just thought that we should just talk about some that easily come into mind. If we start researching more, it's just going to go on and on and on.
And we can talk about this forever.
Yeah, and we don't have time for that. And people that are watching don't have time for that. So guys, let us know if you agree with some of the fights and arguments that we brought up, if you agreed with our points or not. And if you have any iconic fights that you thought we should have brought up, write those down in the comments below and let us know. Follow us on social media. On Instagram, I'm Puri602. Harris is.
I'm Harris_91.
So there you go, guys. Like, share, comment, and subscribe, and we'll see you next time.
Bye, guys.